Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Bailey, I want to thank you for allowing me to interview you. My name is Michelle Carpenter. I'm a student at North Central University for Marriage Family Therapy Counseling. I would just like to inform the both of you this is not a counseling session. This is just for me to interview my techniques. And if there's any questions that you feel uncomfortable, you do not have to answer them. Just let me know and we'll go to the next question, okay?
Okay.
Okay, first of all, sorry. Let's talk about family. What is one of your fondest childhood memories and why? What feelings does this event evoke today when you think about it?
You go ahead first.
The growing up in a small southern town of Indiana, my parents bought a barn and turned it into a home, and I was very young at the time. And watching my dad work on the house, and as time went on, I watched him and started working on with wood and trying to make things. And we lived close to a hill that had a lot of sand in it, so as a kid wanting to play, I made a crude sandbox between age 4 and 5, and went and hauled sand in my wagon to have a place to play. That's about the first memories I have of doing and making anything. And that life, I still think a lot about those years that I grew up in a very simple life on a farm, and it was all through my life it's made a difference on things. I've always enjoyed making things and working with different things, so it's made a big change in my life, I think, different than if I hadn't grew up in a home that was being remodeled at the time.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of something he said reminded me of something that me and my brother and sister used to do when we lived in California. There was an empty lot next to us, and somebody was building a house, and they stopped building the house after they leveled off the ground, and it kind of was up a hill, and so it was level up here. And I don't know, our mom let us walk through the empty lot and up this hill that the tractors had made this little gravel sand road, and it was level at the top, and we'd get back as far as we could, and we'd run as fast as we could, and then we'd drop off the end. So it kind of made us feel like we were flying and that we were special, but we called it the sand hill because it was kind of like this, and then it dropped straight off, so when we ran off, we would be in the air for a little while before we came down and hit the sand, and we'd spend hours doing that, and that was a very fond memory. I don't know what it has to do with today, except maybe I like freedom, I don't know.
How would you characterize your childhood home life? Fun, sad, harsh, caring, balanced?
I'd say caring and balanced for us.
Could you give me an example?
I don't think we did anything too extreme. You know, we weren't, they weren't extremely strict, but they weren't loose either in behavior, what we were allowed to do and not allowed to do. You know, we genuinely felt cared for and loved, and we didn't have a whole lot, but we didn't know it. No one else knew it, so we were just your normal, average, middle class or lower middle class maybe people. You know, home was the center of everything we did, and you know, that was very secure.
I think mine was fun and caring. we had a lot of family and aunts and uncles that lived on farms, and we visited them often. And my dad had been in his younger years, had been a blacksmith, and we went to my uncle's farm a lot of times, and he would shoe the horse. We had a big Clydesdale, and a lot of farm animals, and watching my dad did a wide array of things, and it was a lot of fun to go to the farm and see all the chickens and the pigs and the cows, and it was something that sometimes at the time we didn't think much about it, but we just became a part of our life. And I look back on it, to me it was a fun time, and each and every one of the family members was always helpful and caring. So I think fun and caring was my childhood.
Okay. Some people say, I opened my mouth and my mother or father came out. Do you find yourself doing as your parents did, or saying things they said? And if so, could you give me an example?
Probably a few times that has been true. Our son, when he is quite logical, and even at 3 years old, I had to resort to, because I said so, which my parents said quite often, but I had to resort to that because he had some very logical reasons why he should be allowed to do what he wanted, and I couldn't articulate as well as I would like. I'm ashamed to say a 3-year-old could out-talk me, but so I finally had to resort to, because I'm the mom and that is what I said to do, that's what you're going to do. That was like my mom. And I found myself, I tend to be patient to a point, and then if something starts getting on my nerves, then I start getting a little angry and a little louder when I speak. So in that sense, I'm like my mom and dad. And then my dad, he was real quiet, didn't hardly say 10 words. So there's time I can go for hours. He doesn't believe it, but I can go for hours sometimes without speaking. And so in that sense, I'm like my dad.
I think with my parents, I tend to think a lot the same way that my parents did, but I'm a little more maybe reserved. I don't speak it out so much. My mom was a little outspoken, and looking at our family, you would always thought that my mom was in charge of our family. If she was someone looking from the outside and he was around us, you would always thought that she was in charge. But through the years, if you were in the family, my dad didn't say a lot, but when it came down to a certain time and my dad did not agree, my dad would say, "Mabel, that's enough." And at that point, my mom knew that was enough, and he wasn't going to listen to it any longer, and he didn't want to hear about it, and he didn't expect for it to be brought up anymore. And so my dad, he kind of quietly ruled the family, and he wasn't loud.